Okay. Hopefully, we are live. I hope I did this correctly. I'm just going to move my tablet. I'm going to sign into chat, make sure I've done this correctly. If I've done it correctly, I should be able to see myself live on my thing here. Great. Okay. So, I'm going to do this. I'm here, guys. Give me a minute. I'm just okay. There we go. All right. For some reason, I hope there's like no sound effects or anything because um at the top of my screen it's saying something about a meowing cat sound effects or something. I don't know what that is, but oop, okay. So I have control over like autofocus, I guess, which is kind of cool. All right, let me get my mic. This is the first time I am going live on this channel. So if you are here for this, welcome to the first live stream. Hopefully there will be more. I am trying to get to 50 subscribers so I can do more. Right now I'm at about 30, so that's pretty good. And I'm just gonna plug in attach my mic and then we should be good. Okay. All right, so I have chat set up. Everything is set up, I believe, correctly. I'm going to put a little bit of lotion on my hands because they are quite a bit dry. I live in the desert, for anyone that's new to this channel. This is actually my second channel. I'm trying to grow this channel. This is going to be my main art channel so that I can do my art stuff over here and leave my coloring stuff over at the other channel. So if you're into art and stuff like that, then come hang out with me over here. Okay, I have the light set up. Everything is quite a bit set up. I got my paintbrushes here. All right, let's get started. This is as ready as I'm gonna be. So yesterday I was working on, I have quite a few different types of watercolor paper. And so I did some drawings on some of them. And I kind of just want to, over the course of multiple live streams, test out these watercolor papers. Now, over on my other channel, I did test out this one. I just dropped something. I did test out this one. This is the Strathmore watercolor paper. And on that live stream, I did, let me just grab the art that I did with it. Okay. So on that live stream, we did this drawing. And I actually used the back side of the paper because there's a front and then there's a back side. The back side is more textured than the front. And so I really like that. If you look kind of close, if you look on Miso here, you can see the texture. You can see the texture throughout. So this is actually the back side of the paper. The front side is a little bit smoother, but it is still textured. It's just not as textured as this side. So I actually used the back side of this. I do want to do another drawing where I test the front side of this paper to see how it's going to work. This pad was gifted to me for my birthday by a viewer over on my other channel. So this was tested with this one. And I used my acrylic gouache by Turner and Holbein. I have a few of each. Well, at this point, I have a little bit more than a few. I have more Turners than Holbeins because these are a little bit more expensive. So I'm slowly building up my Holbein collection. But this is what I used on here. And then I also used a black acrylic paint marker to outline it. And I believe that's it. I didn't add, this metallic is this silver that I have in the Holbein acrylic gouache. So that's actually acrylic gouache. So that's all I used there. And again, that was on the back side of the paper. And another thing that I tested out on another live stream was the Bao Hong paper. And I have the hot press one. This is the only hot press paper that I have. And I guess I should have gave you the details for this one. So this one is 140 pounds. This is 5 by 8 or 5.5 by 8.5, but it's 140 pound paper cold press. This one is 100 and this is also 140 pounds. This is hot press though. It says it's 100% cotton. And it's a little smaller. It's 4.9 by 7. So this is like the block. So I can't really, I can pull it out and do it separately, which is what I did. But the next time I test it, well, I have another piece that I'm going to do, but the next piece, I'm going to just do it on the block. I had a little bit of a hard time getting the paper off the block with this. I don't know if it's just maybe the glue is a little bit too hard or what, but I had a really tough time, and I wasn't really a fan of the hot press paper. I was using also acrylic gouache, and it came out a bit patchy, some of the colors. So like the background, if you can see, it kind of came out patchy. I don't know if that's user error, but like his coat also came out a bit patchy. So I'm gonna test it again and see if I can get a different result. But if I take it out, like it even feels kind of weird. And it also it curved on me. This one curved a little bit, but not as much. You can see the difference. So I don't know if that's the paper or what happened there, but I am going to give it another shot because as of right now, I'm not really a fan of the hot press paper. But again, it could be user error. I'm no expert at this, at painting. I'm no expert at this paper. I'm no expert at any of this stuff. So that's those two. And then I also have one thing that I have is this is the, and I'm just, give me a second because my area right now, it's a little bit of a mess. I have not really cleaned up much today. So my art stuff's been kind of all over the place. So I have another one, and this is also Strathmore. This is the Strathmore Vision Pad, and it's 140 pound cold press. I don't remember if it's 100% cotton or not because this is just the cover that you can decorate. And can I zoom out? I cannot. Okay. For some reason, I feel like we're really close. But this is the cover that you can decorate. There was another cover that went over it that had all the paper details, but I don't know where that is. It fell off somewhere and I don't know where it is. So I don't know if it's 100% cotton or not. I guess you can probably Google it if you want to know, but that's the name of it. It's Strathmore Vision. And this is the 9 by 12, 140 pounds. And it's also watercolor paper. This one has a little bit of a texture on both sides. And for this one, the front is more textured than the back. So I did a drawing on that, and I'll show you in a second. And then I have this really big one. This is the Canson Monteval Aquarelle pad. And this is cold press, 140 pounds. This is 12 by 16. So this one's really, really huge. And I'm going to, firstly, let me just do something really quick. So I did a drawing on this paper. I did a drawing on the Strathmore paper. I also did a drawing on another drawing on the Bao Hong paper, and I think that's it. I think I did like 3 or 4 last night. So right now, I'm going to show you guys. So let me move this out of the way. Just move it back a little bit. Okay. Oh, and I have some other paper. I don't know. I haven't done a drawing on this yet, I don't think. But this is the Ready Cut watercolor paper. Also cold press, 100% cotton, 140 pounds. And this is 5 by 7. So, and these are like the ready cut ones. So they're already cut and ready to go. So I have here, and I have not done one on here yet. So I need to keep this on my desk so I know that I need to do one on it. All right. So this one is the Bao Hong paper. And I think we're going to do this one today. And well, we're going to work on it as much as we can. So what I discovered with the Bao Hong paper, and do I have my flashlight? I don't with me, and my phone is hooked up. That's lovely. But if I turn this to the side ever so slightly, and you guys can kind of see it right there, they have their name kind of printed into the paper or stamped into the paper some kind of way. If I turn it that way, you can see it. Do you guys see that? That is something I do not like. I'm all for like putting your brand on things, but I feel like that might mess up the painting a little bit. If someone wanted to hang this on the wall, they're going to see like the giant Bao Hong letters on the side. So I think I'm going to use the Bao Hong paper just for practice, because I don't like how they have that printed in there. And then if you run your finger along the backside, you can actually feel that imprint. So I don't know if that was on the last paper. Matter of fact, let me check, because I think that's a little bit annoying. I don't know if that's going to be on all of the papers or if it's just on that one. It's hard to see on this one now because I've painted on it. I don't see it, nor do I feel it. So I don't know what that's about. It's very strange to me, honestly. But these are just practice prints, so it's okay. I'm okay with it for right now. But I don't plan on probably buying any more hot press paper if this goes wrong anyway. Also, I redid the one that I just showed you guys. I redid it on cold press paper, and I want to see how my paint is going to react again on this paper. And I did it on the textured side. I didn't do it on the smooth side. I did it on the back side again because I like the way it looks. So I did that. So that will be another live stream. And then I did one on that Strathmore Vision paper. So, and I kept it at its full size. I didn't cut it down, so that's kind of like a bigger size. I'm used to working on something like this, but I do want to dive into bigger, so that's a bigger one. And then this is going to be my project. So I did this sketch before on a smaller canvas, and I didn't like the way it was turning out because I was using gouache, and it was like my first time using gouache, and I was using it on canvas. I didn't like the way it was turning out. It was kind of weird. So I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to redo it. So I redid it. I revamped it. The drawing itself looks better than the other one. I'm very happy with how this turned out. Now, if I mess up, that is okay, because what I did was I did the sketch on some Bristol paper, and I just kind of taped it together. You can see it's taped. And if I mess up, I got this one here, and I'm just going to redo it again. But I'm going to use acrylic gouache this time. And I feel like we are really like kind of low, and I'm not really sure. Maybe I can, because I can zoom in, but I can't zoom out anymore. And I feel like we're really close down to the paper. And I would like to zoom, I would like to go up a little bit more, but I don't know. Let me see if I can. You guys might hear a little bit shaking, but I'm sorry. Hang on. I'm going to see. I guess that's, and then I can just kind of like scoop this back if I need to. So we have Miso, Bo, and their friends here, and they're playing this game that they all like to play together, and they like to collect the cards and the little figurines and stuff. So I did a scene where they're actually playing it. Miso, it is his favorite game, so he's very adamant about it. And he's playing with his new figurine that he just bought. And we have Bo. Bo's the dungeon master. She loves being the dungeon master. And then we have Pot and Pan. We finally came up with a name for him. I think someone had suggested it, and they was like, well, if his name is Pot, his name should be Pan, since they're like twins. So we have Pot and we have Pan, who now has a name. And Pan likes to play the bad characters, like the villains and the monsters and stuff. And he likes to play, the warrior types, and they all like to play different types and stuff like that. And then we have the Water Queen, who now has a name. She has been named after my dog Mizu, who passed away. So we have Queen Mizu, or Princess Mizu. She's not queen, she's Princess Mizu over here, trying to figure out the rules of the game. She has absolutely no idea what's going on. They brought her along because she doesn't get out of her castle much. And they were like, hey, you want to come play? They seen her in town one day, and she's the same age as them, around the same age. And she's actually a little bit older. She's 11. And she's around the same age though, because Miso just turned 10. So they brought her along, and she has absolutely no idea what's going on because she doesn't get out of her castle much. So she doesn't know anything about this game. This is her first time hearing about it, and she's trying to read the rules, and she's like, what is going on? So I thought this would be a really cool project for me to do, and it'll be my biggest painting so far. And this is actually the biggest I've drawn my characters, and I'm really proud of it because they don't look weird. They don't look out of place. Sometimes when I try to draw my characters bigger, they don't look right. I don't know. Like they seem oddly proportionate, or they seem, I still draw them too small for what's going on, or something's always off. So I am really proud of how it turned out. So I'm gonna hang on to the sketch, which is what this is. Um, and maybe if the painting turns out really good, then I can do prints of it. I'm not sure yet, but once this one is done, I would love to do another one, a different one. I have a couple of sketches based on the game that they're playing in my sketchbook, and two of them I tried to do paintings of, and I didn't like the way they were turning out. So I'm hoping that I can redo the other one like I did this one, but on this size paper. So I will have this one and then the other one, and I do believe there's 3 total actually that I did. It's a whole little thing that I want to do based off the game. And in my previous sketchbook here, I did like, I'm doing like a whole theme. So there's like the figurines, and that's the shopkeeper down here at the bottom. And I was trying to see what the card packs looks like. And um so here is kind of like what this sketch was based off of. I did change it a little bit. And then there's another one with them hanging out in front of the store after they bought their packs, and they're just like opening their packs. And then there's another one of them in front of the store waiting for it to open. And then I want to do some smaller ones. Like I want to put that one, make it an artwork, and maybe redo Bo because she doesn't look like that anymore. As you can see, she looks different. So I want to redo that one. And this one was really cute with them standing here. It's Miso and Pot, and Miso, Bo, and Pot, and they're kind of dressed up. I feel like they're going to like a convention or something. So I want to redo something like this of them at the convention, and we'll add Pan as well, and maybe they bring along the princess. Who knows? And then this one was them like in the store. So I had like a whole theme, and I want to redo it because I'm in a new sketchbook. And that first sketchbook was just like kind of like me redoing, I mean, like getting to know the characters and stuff like that. So in this one, I feel like especially Miso and Bo, they're a bit more refined. So I really want to do another one. This was the Halloween one here. I did this in acrylic paint markers, but I really want to do it. And then this one, once I'm done with their whole game series, I want to do one of the next location, which is going to be down by the harbor, which is where they go oftentimes, because Miso, he lives on a farm with his grandpa, and they deliver a lot of sorry about that. They deliver a lot of like, vegetables and goods and stuff to different areas in town. So he often delivers things here, and he gets trades. So sometimes he's picking up things for his grandpa and bringing them back to the house. So oftentimes he comes down to the harbor, and there's oftentimes some shady pirates down there, and a lot of hustle and bustle, and people are moving boxes and crates and stuff. So I want to do something like that, but that will be after this here. I want to do some more gaming of their little game. The game doesn't have a name yet, so if you guys can think of a name, it's similar to Dungeons and Dragons, but also kind of like it has trading cards like Magic the Gathering and stuff. So it's a little bit of both. So um, if you guys can think of a name, let me know. So that's going to be like a little project that I work on. But today I think we will start small because I am not ready to tackle that. But it is here. It's all in my little pad and ready to be painted. I don't know if I want to do that on stream or not. It might make me a little bit nervous if I'm being honest. But maybe we'll do this one on stream, the bigger one, the slightly smaller but still pretty big for me. we'll do that one on the stream and see how it goes. But today I think we'll do this painting of Bo because I feel like I don't have a lot of paintings of her. She's not the main character, but I feel like we can at least have something for Bo because I don't have a lot for her. I'm gonna angle this down some because this is a smaller one, so we don't need to be way up in the air like that. Okay, so I have my paintbrushes here, and I'm still on a journey of figuring out what are some good paintbrushes I like to use. Since I paint small mostly, these are okay for like these smaller ones, but when I get to that bigger project, we might run into a problem of I have bigger paintbrushes, but I don't use them. So this one here is going to be, I'm not going to put a border on this one, even though I'd like to put borders. I want this one to go all the way to the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some masking tape here. And I'm just going to roll it and I'm going to put it on the back. I'm going to put a couple pieces so it doesn't really go anywhere while I'm painting. All right. And then we'll just stick it right to there so it doesn't go anywhere. All right. I have my swatch cards here, which is what I like to use. They're upside down. What I like to use when I am painting. This was that silver that I showed you guys in that one painting. So this is silver, literally called silver, in the Holbein acrylic wash. So that was that nice shiny silver. I want to get a gold. I have like this antique brassy color. It's called Antique Gold by Turner. But I mean, it's shiny, but I want to try some different ones in the Holbein series. Okay. So the color that we've been using for both, since we can't seem to find the perfect color for her, poor thing, is this here. But I think I want to, because I want the sky to be yellows, but I think I'm going to have to add a little bit of a darker yellow, maybe mixed with a little bit of orange, because it is kind of like evening time, and but I want it to be a bit darker. So I might just go like mix these two together because she's yellow and I know it's going to clash, so I'm trying to prevent it from clashing too much. So let's just work with it and see what we got. I have my porcelain palette here. I was going to use my Stay Wet palette, but I used my Stay Wet palette last time for the other one, and I want to change it up because I don't know what caused the paint to be so translucent like that. So we're going to try to stick with what I normally stick with. Okay. So this orange, we're going to start with the background actually, because these trees are going to be kind of like a brownish yellow color. It's going to be a lot of yellows and brownish. It's a kind of like an autumn theme. So we're going to grab Permanent Yellow and Permanent Yellow Deep in the Turner. And again, I have quite a bit in my collection so far because I don't like mixing colors. So you probably don't need all these colors. And I've even had people tell me like, you don't need all those, but I do because I don't like mixing colors at all. Sometimes I will mix them if I need like a darker version of something, or if it's a color I want and I don't have it, then I will mix and try to find the color that I need. But other than that, I would prefer to just have the convenience colors. Right, so we're going to start with some permanent yellow. I don't want to create too many shadows, so you guys probably won't see me mixing too much. So we're going to start with some permanent yellow. And we're going to mix in some permanent yellow deep. And then we're just going to pray. So I'm going to grab, I don't want anything too crazy to start with. So I think I'm just going to start with this one. And I'm going to grab some of this permanent yellow and a little bit of the permanent yellow deep. Wow, even with a little bit, it still went pretty dark. Okay, let me just grab some of that. So I hope everyone's doing well. And I'm really aiming for 50 subscribers. So even if you're watching this in the replay, and you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, like, share the channel. I would love to have other, viewers. And I realized that I didn't put anything underneath this before I taped it down, but so I am going to have paint everywhere. I'm kind of okay with that. These little things that I have down, I just have them down to protect my desk. So it's okay. It's fine. I still haven't figured out the paint to water ratio that I want, that I like the best. Also, I feel like these brushes that I have don't seem to hold a lot of water. Even though they're watercolor brushes, the one I'm using now seems to hold the most. And this is the Princeton Snap. I got this brush at Joann's when I was with my mom one day, years ago. And she was like, "Why are we looking at paintbrushes?" And I was like, "Mom, I need a new paintbrush. The ones I have were really cheap. I got them from like Walmart or something." And I think it was just like the Walmart brand ones. And they were not it, let me tell you. And I don't even think they were watercolor brushes. So when we went to Joann's and I seen they had like a whole paintbrush section, and then I looked up because they were on sale too that day. So I got this one, and I got like a little kind of flat looking one. I don't think I have it over here with me at the moment, but it was also Princeton Snap, and they were only like $2, like $2.50 or something like that each. So I was like, "Mom, I definitely need it." And I did. It wasn't like, you know, I didn't need it and I just was like being a brat. I actually needed it. So she bought them for me and I've had it since. And it's a really good brush. This is probably one of my favorites. If not my favorite, because it does hold the most water at the moment compared to my other brushes. And it's already dry. But it does hold quite a bit of water. But this paper, for some reason, I don't know if it's meant for acrylic gouache or what, but even though it does like this weird patchy thing, I'm kind of okay with it for the sky because the sky is not supposed to be like perfect or anything. So I do want to see what it looks like when it dries though. Because this, I kind of want this to have like the painterly look in a way. Usually I do like cell shading and stuff like that, but let's just see how it turns out. I want to see how the sky is going to dry. And if I just paint the way I'm supposed to. I mean, like I said, we don't know if it's user error or not. It could be someone in the comments who uses hot press paper. will gladly tell me what I'm supposed to be using this paper for. So that would be helpful. Tell me nicely, please. Don't be yelling at me in the comments like you're doing it wrong. I know I'm doing it wrong. That's why I'm asking for help. But if I just kind of put, and then also I have to realize that most of the paper that I use is like Strathmore. So I don't know if this paper is like a professional brand or a budget brand. Sometimes when I just dump a bunch of water on it, that may not be the best route. And I think it is, and I'm dumping water on it, and it's not something I'm supposed to be doing. So we will see. Someone down in the comments will tell me. So 3 years from now, they'll be like, oh, yeah, by the way. And by that time, I'll be like, oh, forget it. I'm never using hot press again. So I'm thinking maybe adding a little bit of purple, like sunset purple, magenta maybe, if I can find it really quick. Oh, that was fast. Okay. And then maybe mixing a little bit of it, just a little bit. That's good. I literally put like a speck on there. But like just kind of like, doing like this. I don't know how well it's going to mix because I'm not the fastest when it comes to this. But we're going to see real quick. And I'm just going to put like some there. I don't know if I screwed that up, guys. But I feel like the more I add, I can add like a little bit around the edges maybe. I don't know how to blend acrylic gouache. But we are going to add a little bit of purple. Maybe just get like a wet brush and then just do something like that. Because I don't want to muddy it up, you know what I mean? I just want it to look kind of cool. Okay. And then on this side, I'm going to add a little bit more because it looks not purple. So in this scene, we have Bo, and she is at the Cider Tree Orchid, and it's actually called Cider Tree Farms, but she's over by the trees, and she's either on her way to go get some fruit for some cider. During the fall, the farm offers free picking and free cider made from whatever you pick. So her and Miso often goes and picks some fruit. She enjoys the cider more than he does, but he goes because it's something that she likes to do, and he always drags her on his adventures. So she's on her way. They're on their way. He's just not in this one. I wanted to do one where it's not because I feel like I put him in every single drawing that she's in, and I'm like, let's give her a spotlight of her own. I feel like I am muddying this up, so when it dries, I'm gonna put a little bit more yellow. I mean, the transition is working out the way I want it to, so I guess it's not too bad that it's getting a little muddy. I think it's kind of supposed to do that, maybe. Right now, I'm just kind of going in where I skipped out on some areas because I was trying to be fast. Okay. So let's see how that dries. Now for the the trees, well, let's do, because I want it to dry a little bit longer. So let's pick out a green. Um, I feel like this green would be really nice. I was going to do like a dark green. So I'm thinking because these two greens here, I have a lot of greens as you guys can see, but I like this green. And if I need to darken it up a bit, I will use a little bit of this green. So I'm going to bring out the permanent green middle and deep green. And that's both in the Turner. Okay, here is the permanent green middle. And here's deep green. So I'm bringing out these two. All right, so let's start with the permanent green middle. And I'm just going to put that all down on there like that. Okay. And do I want the same brush or do I want something a little bit? I'm going to try something different. And this is a nice green actually. So I've been trying to basically, I've been on YouTube and I've been noticing a lot of people will put like paint and chat. And I've been looking for actual like paint and chat videos where people are actually talking and it's not where I have to read like the subtitles. Or not subtitles because it's in English, but like the captions. And I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like it's not a paint and chat if you aren't talking. If I have to read it, it's not really a chat. And I've been doing my best to find actual paint and chats where I can just paint and listen to you while you paint and so on and so forth. Um, it's more music based videos where they're putting like, you know, their art or whatever, and then they have the subtitles, and then you're basically just listening to music. And YouTube, when you search for paint and chat, that's what they're giving you. And I'm like, it's not a paint and chat though. And I have been struggling to find, I found some, but most of them, they're not actually chatting, or it's really low and I have to like blast my volume. And then they'll just like break out with some music and then the music is like blaring and I'm like, okay, this is not a paint and chat, someone help. So I said, you know what, I wonder if I'm the only one who feels that way, because I prefer actual talking to the music. I prefer not hearing any music. I prefer just listening to you talk through your process and listen to you basically talk about, you know, how you feel about your painting, if you would change some things, what colors you're using, what stuff you're using. I don't want to have to read that when it should be what you said it is, a paint and chat. And I don't know if that's like a trending thing just because that's what gets, you know, that's what's popular, like the music, or paint and chats are popular and then they're just adding the music. Because I know a lot of people don't want to talk or they don't want to do voiceovers, or I get it. But in my opinion, it's not a paint and chat if you're not chatting. So it should be like, you could put like paint with me or paint to music or, paint and music or something like that, I feel like. But calling it a paint and chat is crazy, in my opinion, if you're not chatting. But, some people, they're different. They do what they do. All right, so we have the grass. I do like the contrast. So I might not need this deep green. What I can do is put like a little bit, like it's fading towards the back so it can show some depth. But other than that, it's not really needed, but we can put a little bit. And now that I have figured out how to go live on this channel until I can do it the regular way, because right now I can't um, just hit the go live button because I don't have 50 subscribers yet. So until then, I'm just going to go live this way. And I think I'm going to be streaming more on this channel because what I've been doing lately is my art. And then I'll just post on the other channel like, hey, I'm live over on this channel if you want to come watch me paint. Because I know my other channel is a coloring channel. So not all of them like to watch me paint or watch me do anything other than coloring. And I don't always want to color. Color is like my side hobby outside of gaming and drawing. So when I'm not in a coloring mood and I do painting and stuff over there, they don't really like that. So now that I have a way to do my art over here, I'll be over here mostly. All right, now let's deal with these trees. I kind of want like a yellowish brown. And the lightest brown I have, because I do like this brown, but I think I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow with it. Maybe a little bit of this. So I have the yellow already. So I need yellow ochre and Turner and burnt sienna. So let's grab that. I always like doing the background before the characters. I think it's just a little easier. All right. Yellow ochre, burnt sienna. So I'm going to put a little bit of all of this on my palette here. Another thing I probably need to start doing is planning out my colors before I start throwing paint on the thing here, because I'm good for just throwing color down. And I don't know if that's the best thing to be doing. Maybe, but do I want to test that? Not really. Maybe one day I'll kind of test it and be like, oh, okay, add a little bit more brown to that. So I have my browns and my trees here. I also have an unveil. I made an unveil for my characters so I can keep track of them. I hear that's one of the best ways to keep track of your characters is to create an unveil. So I did that. And then once I start adding different parts of the town and stuff like that, like I would love to create an actual book with a story. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a graphic novel or if it's just going to be like a regular series. And then there's just like you can go and look at the art and see what the towns and stuff look like if you want to do that. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards at this point because I'm not that great with backgrounds and I don't want to try and slow the process down because I'm trying to figure out how to, draw whatever it is I'm trying to draw for the background at that moment. Um, so I'm just like I think I'm just gonna do like some squiggly parts here and there just for like the different parts of the trees. But yeah, I don't think I want to slow the process down by doing that. So um I think it's best if I mean, because if I can get away with doing it without backgrounds, but I feel like the backgrounds would make more sense, especially if they're at certain areas and those backgrounds, I can't describe them properly and you just kind of like need to see it. But then I feel like, well, maybe I don't need to describe them. Maybe it's just meant for, for you to figure out, for you to, in your mind, tell what the background looks like and so on and so forth. So I think that could be a thing. I'm just trying to add a little bit of yellow to this tree. I feel like that part needs to be brown. Maybe. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with these trees, guys. They're just there. But like I can do like a little bit like it's kind of peeking off. Just a bit. I don't know about the yellow. I mean, it's working sort of. But yeah, I feel like I mean, I guess it kind of looks like a tree. I'm not really good with trees either. I'm okay at drawing them, but painting them is a different beast. But I guess that's fine. I didn't want it to look too dark. I might add a little bit of red in there. But hey, I mean, it's a tree, right? I'm trying to kind of speed along this little background because so you guys can see the actual character painting part. But I'll be live for a while, so it's okay if we'll get to it. Um, I mean, I'm thinking maybe we add a little bit of green in the trees. I mean, we could. Now that we okay, and then add a little bit of this. You have to be really fast with these colors. Okay. All right, and then we're going to add a little bit of that yellow in between here, just to give it a little bit of other color, otherworldliness, so it's not looking bland and stuck and flat. All right. And we're going to put a little bit on the edges as well. And then we're going to come in with that brown and put it on the outside. I keep dumping my brush because I don't want it to dry out on me in the middle of me doing this. If y'all know what I mean. All right, that's good. I feel like maybe I should have added like a little bit of darker orange around, but I think we're okay. We're fine. So I'm gonna try to go around these little things. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna try to do that because I can go right over it with whatever color. I was thinking gold. For the fruit. I think that would look pretty. I'm just doing little specklets here and there. It's not something that it's not really planned. It's just putting some pieces down, making it look tree-like. That's all I'm doing. I want to add a little bit of this darker one. I don't know if I should do this reddish color though. Let's see what it looks like. Might do some darker brown for that, maybe. I do like the reddish color. Just gonna solidify that a little bit. Okay. All right, let's let that dry. Though I do want to add a little bit of this in here. And then we can't forget the yellow. This in there. These trees in the background, I don't really want to look as prominent as the other ones. So I'm just adding some things. Okay. And I feel like the orange in the sky, I could have put a little bit darker. But I won't be able to blend it. That's the thing. So I can put like, just make it look a little bit. And then take some of this and just kind of blend it out. Because it's a little bit too light up there. All right. Now, I need a bit of a darker brown for the sticks here. And I'm going to use, I can use this burnt umber. Let's see, burnt umber. Uh-oh. A bit of that. Just need a tiny bit because it's just 4 little pieces. I think I want her scarf to be like red and yellow, or like a reddish brown and white. Let me get my tiny brush for these sticks. They're actually the tree trunks. They look like sticks because they're off in the distance. But let me just deal with that really quick. I kind of feel like this one turned out better than the Halloween one. So I don't know if that was user error or what was happening with that one. Or maybe it's just like, I was supposed to do something and I didn't. Something though was definitely off about that one. I don't know, maybe I was using too much water, or it could have been the Stay Wet palette because I was using my paint on top of that, and that could have been a thing. I'm just putting some brown into this tree. That could have been a thing though. It really could have. And I'm not sure, but you never know. So I don't want to say it was, and it could have been user error because I'm good for just jumping in doing stuff. I think I do though want to put a bit of a darker orange around these trees because I feel like I'm losing them. And so I'm going to probably mix a bit of this. What is this? Permanent yellow orange. Or I might just grab this whole vine one. Let me just. I hope you guys are enjoying it, what I'm doing, because um, I'm about as random as it comes when it comes to certain things, especially like when it comes to my live streams and stuff. I will randomly be like, all right, this is what we're doing today. And then tomorrow we'll be doing something else. So, and I'm going to do this very, because I don't want it to, the background is painterly. So I want this to be as painterly as possible. I'm just putting it like in between. Because I'm losing the tree a bit. So just a little. I don't want to lose the tree because it was like fading into the background, and that's not what I want. There we go. Something like that. That's better. Okay. So we wait for that to dry. Now we can do bow. Now bow, we typically use this color here for bow, and this is the cream yellow. Sometimes I will make her darker depending on the situation. Like we can use, that might be too light for this, so we can actually use this pale yellow, the Japanese colors. I'm I might just grab that and it's enamel. And if it doesn't turn out right, we can always go over it. That's the good part. So let me just grab, if I can find it, pale yellow. Is that the right color? Yeah. Okay. So the only thing we have to worry about is her two ears and her head. Wow, that's a lot of paint. Okay. But you see what I mean when I say like I like the convenience colors, because I don't have to do a lot when it comes to finding the correct color and all of that jive. I already have the correct color. The only thing I don't have the correct color for is Bo. Her color changes up quite a bit depending on what color yellow I feel like goes with whatever is happening at the moment. And until I find a better yellow, I typically go between this pale yellow and this I forgot the other one. I think it's like cream yellow or something like that. I typically go between the two. So, and then I don't typically worry about the eyes because I usually cover them in black anyway. So like if I go over it, it's fine. I do still try to go around it a little bit, but if I go over it, it's fine because the black will cover it. Um, I do typically go over my artworks with black. Usually it's just like the characters. The background I typically don't. Sometimes I will, but for the most part I don't. It's usually the characters because I want them to kind of pop. In this case, I might do brown instead of black. I feel like black might be too much. These Japanese colors, they kind of dry, kind of weird. So I just want to make sure that it's even. Because they do dry kind of strangely. So you have to make sure that it's even. Because they'll dry with like a strange layer or in patchy ways. And sometimes it's not hue, sometimes it's just a paint because of what type of paint it is. So I just try to make sure that I got it all covered and it's not looking weird, especially with Bo because he's such a pale color. And if you kind of mess up or, it's going to show. So especially like around in here. Okay, now we have the ear to worry about. And again, if I go over a little bit, it's okay because the black will cover it. I haven't figured out if I'm going to do black or not, or brown. It's going to be one of the two. I don't want to keep working her face because it's going to really, I want to wait until it dries, but I can kind of see that it's either too much paint on it or not enough. And I don't want it to dry like that. But we'll see when it dries. You guys can't see it, but I can see it. Okay. And we got one more ear. Over here. And I just want to make sure that this one's covered. See, the ears turned out great. For some reason, the face is a little patchy. And I don't want it to dry like that, but we'll wait and see. All right. And the color I typically use for like their noses and stuff, or like the inside of their tongue and stuff, I have like this pastel orange. Or in this case, since it's a bit of a darker scene, I'm going to use this Jaune Brilliant. And that's in the Turner. So I only need a dab of that. And I haven't figured out like paint control either. Hi, View. I see you found your way to my channel. I found a way to go live without having 50 subscribers yet. I remembered a way that I would use in my other channel. And I was like, oh, you know what? I was like, I've gone live with less than 50 subscribers before. And so I'm doing that for now. So I'm going to be mainly on this channel for a while because this is where like I'm putting my art and stuff. So I want my art to be over here. That way, if anybody from the other channel wants to come and watch me paint, then they can. If not, then they can wait until I come back over there. And the ones that want to come watch, they can. I put a yeah, I was going live. I just was trying to figure out how to go live over here. That way, if anyone wanted to come watch, they can, and those who didn't, they didn't have to. So because I know not everybody likes to watch my art, they're just waiting on me to color. But I'm not in the coloring mood right now. So, and I've been like trying to focus on my art and get that all set up. So me and my orange juice jar, yeah, I know. Don't drink it now. Were you here when I had the Kool-Aid one? It was like blue. And I was like, this one looks like Kool-Aid. I was like, I wonder if you seen this one. So I think I want her scarf to be like a reddish color. I like this one. This third one, what is this? This is Permanent Red in the Turner. But I might darken it a little bit. But let me grab it. Yeah, I was like, this one looks like Kool-Aid. I was like, you hasn't seen this one yet. What did I say that color was? I said permanent something. Permanent red. Okay. Exactly. That's what I said. I said, I'm going to figure out how to go live over here. And if they want to watch, they'll make their way. And if they don't, then I'll be attracting the correct audience that, enjoys my art. And not saying that, they don't enjoy it over there, but they would prefer that I color. And I'm not into that right now. So, they'll come if they want. If they just want to come and chat, that's fine too. I don't turn anybody away unless you over here with the drama, and then I'm like, nope, you out. So a lot of them will, and they'll tell me like, oh no, I just come to watch you color. Okay, that's fine. You'll be waiting for a while because I want to get more artwork done. So now I did order a new coloring book, but it won't be here until the 27th, I believe. But I ordered it from Amazon for France, so it's gonna be a while. But if you catch the replay, and I'll show you again here at the end, but I did draw something on a bigger scale. You know, I normally draw small, but I have a project that I'm working on. I have multiple projects that I would like to work on, but I did sketch out one, and I am going to be working on that. I don't know yet if I'm going to live stream it or not. I would like to, but painting that large makes me nervous. So I don't know if I'm going to have the audacity to um, paint it live, but we'll see. We will see. We will see. But I was determined to give Bo a painting of her own because normally she's like never by herself. She's always with me. So, but I'm like, he can be here, but not in the picture. So this time it's just Bo. And we supposed to get some rain today. So I'm also like kind of watching the window as well as trying to make sure that, because once the rain kicks in, I'm probably going to lose some bit of power. And I didn't want it to just like cut off on you guys, which is probably what will happen. So I'm kind of like watching the rain, making sure it hasn't started raining yet, but it's clouding up. So I know it's coming. There's no escape. So what have you been up to today, View? You been coloring? You can talk about coloring over here. It's okay. I just won't be doing any coloring over here. But feel free. Um, I'm on the Bao Hong paper, and this one for some reason I didn't see it on the other one that I colored on, but on this one it has the Bao Hong name printed into it. And I don't know if that's like a factory error or what, but I thought it was pretty strange. But since this is like a practice piece, I'm not too worried about it. But it was pretty strange. I looked and I was like, when I took it off the block, I was like, I don't think that's supposed to be on there like that. So I'm hoping I don't see it too much on the painting, because you can see it when you hold it up to the light, clear as day. It says Bao Hong on the side. It's like printed inside the paper. It's very strange. I showed that at the beginning of the live too, because I was like, and I didn't notice it until I took it off and I had went to go and sketch the painting out, and I turned on my light pad and I was like, does that say Bao Hong? I was like, is that on the paper? And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, that's strange. So I pulled out the other one that I sketched on, and I didn't see it on that one. So I'm hoping it's just on this one piece and not on the, not the whole entire pad, which I'm okay with because I don't particularly like using this hot press paper anyway. But I hope it's not on the. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I don't think this is supposed to be on here. And I kind of want to pull another piece off just to see. But this is like the second paper. So I'm like, if it was going to be on there, shouldn't it had been on the first paper and not the second? So I was a little confused and also was like, to be honest, it shouldn't be on there at all. If you ask me, I think I'm gonna put a little bit of this beige, maybe this one. I do like that one though. Maybe even this one. I like this one. Naples yellow? Maybe. Yeah, it was very strange. I was like, I would like to think that it would have been on, excuse me, the other one, the first one that I did the Halloween picture on, but it wasn't on that one. And I was like, So I'm a little curious. And I'll probably in a different stream, I'll probably pull another piece off. And then I also was talking about how I feel like with that Bao paper, it was a little hard to get the um the paper off the block. You know, you have to use like something like this and go around the edges. It was pretty hard to get it off. And I was like, I hope, because my project that I'm working on is on a block as well. And I was like, I hope that it's not as hard to get that off as it was the Bao one. Now, the one that my project is on, that is, I believe Strathmore. No, it's on Canton. And I'm like, uh-oh, because imagine me painting that and then I tear it, trying to get it off. Not that I'm trying to jinx myself, but I probably would cry. Um, so I'm hoping, I hope, I don't know what's going to happen because I didn't realize. I mean, I knew it was on a block, but I was like, well, it's on a different company. Maybe it won't be so hard. But I've also had that Canton block for a while, so it could decide to be like, you haven't used me at all and you want to use me now, I'm going to tear. So I'm praying. Also, let me try something a little bit more flat. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have that issue, View? Do you have like watercolor paper on like a block? And do you have like a hard time getting it off? Because I was kind of curious. I was like, that took forever. The first one I ripped a little bit. This one I didn't rip, but it was still pretty hard to get it off. So and I'm like, all right, I got this one off without, ripping it. It was hard to get off, and then it had the Bao Hong stamp printed on it. I'm like, seriously, I just can't catch a break. So right here, this color is doing the same thing that other color was doing, and it's drying patchy. So I'm gonna try to smooth it out as best I can, but and also this one is not as, I'm not using a lot of water, so I don't know why it's drying, why it's coming off so translucent like that. But also, this color is like the from the Japanese set, and I hear those are a bit different. So I probably should have went with a different green. Because it is looking a little strange. So after this, I think I'm probably going to have some cleaning that I probably should get around to doing. I can work it. Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out. I'm like, why is it doing this? So I'm trying to kind of at least even it out a bit. Because once it dries, I can just put another layer on top like this. But the other colors, though, I didn't have to do that. So I'm like, I think this Japanese set, I think I only have like 12 of those colors. So I just have to be careful when I'm using them. I have to remind myself that I need more than one layer because the struggle is definitely slightly real with this color. Okay. And then I'm going to come in with a darker color for the shadows, but goodness. Okay. So that should be fine. We'll let it dry. And then we'll come in with the shading colors. Because this first go round, you can see it's very patchy. All right. You said it looks cool to you. Okay, yeah, because I was struck like I probably should have lifted it up and showed you guys, but it was like very patchy, and I was like, oh no. You know how I am, View. If it don't look right, I'll sit and work it until I can't anymore. So, but I have to remember that I have to wait for it to dry before I go in doing stuff because you can kind of mess it up if you don't do it that way. And we've come so far. So here I'm just kind of getting as close as I can to the other areas that I kind of missed. So I'll probably put on some music once I get off of here, and I'm going to do some cleaning. I need to start pulling out my autumn clothes because it's starting to, I mean, it's not cold, but it's starting to cool down quite a bit. I think it's going to be like 80 next week. And I was like, okay, that's a big drop. We went from like 100 to like 80. So I'm like, okay, I know in October it cools down quite a bit. And I'm like, geez, that's next month. And I still have my summer clothes out. So I think I'm gonna do this brown color. I like this color. What is this? Grayish beige. Um, I'm not prepared. So I probably am going to do that today since I'm off. I had a splitting headache yesterday. I don't know what was going on. I guess it was a migraine, but my blood pressure was also quite a bit high, so it could have been a little bit of both. And I was just like, oh my goodness, it was like I had to take some medicine and basically do nothing. And that was kind of boring. So I am feeling much better today. Um, there it is, gray beige. Yeah, right. And I'm like, all of my warm clothes, I need to pull them out because I'm already like at work because for some reason they blast the air conditioner in the winter in the autumn, not in the summer when we need it, but it's fine. And I'm already in there like, oh no, it's cold, and they're looking at me like, huh? I'm like, yes, it's freezing in here. You guys aren't cold? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, this is bad. So I pulled out my I have like, my long sleeves to go underneath my work shirt. So I pulled those out and I'm like, okay, I got to start pulling out my other clothes because I'm already in the airport freezing. I mean, freezing. I'm in there shivering. I'm like, oh no. So when this weather drops, I need to be prepared. So, and let me tell you how it was not the other day because I was in there like, man, it is freezing in here. And they're looking at me like, this girl is crazy. But it really was. I was like, you guys aren't cold. They've got this air conditioner blasting like it's 120 degrees outside. It's not. And they're looking at me like, girl, what? And they like, it feels good in here. You crazy. I'm like, mm-mm. So I need to be prepared because when I tell you I'm not ready to be cold, but I'm also ready for it to be cold outside because I don't like the heat, but I don't like the cold either. I need like some in between, you know? People are going to be watching this back like, girl, what in the world is an in between? But those who know, they know, you know? So my fellow freezing as soon as it hits 70 degrees outside, they know. But like also like it's not cold enough for like it's not cold enough for a jacket either. So it's like you could put on like long sleeves, you know? But this weather out here is pretty strange too, because we get like thunderstorms in the middle of summer too, but it's not cold thunderstorms. So yeah, exactly. I need those layers. But then when it gets cold out here, it gets cold. So it's kind of like give me the layers, but like also give me a giant coat and a giant blanket and gloves and a beanie and a scarf. And then somehow I'm still cold. It's like, seriously, I got on all these layers. And poor little me is still freezing. And I'm like, I'm not a small person. I'm not a big person either, but I'm not, I'm not a toothpick. So, I mean, I got enough skin on me, I would think, to keep me a little bit warm under these layers. But nope. Like, I'm not giant, but I'm not small. I'm a solid 200, but I'm not like big. You know what I mean? So I guess they're like, well, no, you don't have enough skin, ma'am. We know where that 200 pounds is going, and so do you. So don't even start. And I'm like, Every time I go to the doctor, they're like, 200, where? And then the nurses are like, we know where. We know where it's at. And I'm like, oh my gosh. You don't look 200 pounds. Yeah, I get that quite a bit. Well, I'm a little less probably now, but um, 200 solid last time I went. Oh, yay. Um, Near me, I mean, I'm not too far from the strip if you want to. I wouldn't recommend going on the strip. I don't even go over there. Um, but if that's where, I mean, I'm like, Hallenbach you. Nice. That's cool. Finally. Oh, you already booked the cruise. Cool. I'm scared to get on the boat. I cannot swim. And if anything was to happen, I'm like, no, no, no. Nobody can guarantee me nothing. So I don't want to go on a boat. Minneapolis. Oh, Ohio. Okay. See, you're brave. I'm not brave at all when it comes to water. I like getting in the pool, like, maybe like the smaller tiny end, but Bubbles is not water friendly. The water is not my friend at all. So I just want to get like, there's like a little dark area here and here. See how fast that water is drying up? My goodness gracious. Can I get, okay. Then here. Trying to get my shadows together. Think something like that. I'm thinking maybe put some shadows on this side. Oh, okay. You're gonna have a good time. Now I tell you, the food ain't all that out here, but I'm sure you can find some place. I usually eat at home. I don't eat out too much because again, the food ain't all that. So I know a lot of people is like, "Oh, the food in Vegas is great," and I'm like, "Where did y'all go eat at?" Always look at me crazy too when I say it. I'll be like, "Where did you eat at?" That is a serious question because um, I've been out here for a while and I'm from California, so if it ain't California quality, I don't want it. And they looking at me like, "Oh my gosh, you talking about the food so bad out here, but you live here." Yeah, I also eat at home, so and they're like, "Oh, well, what about the food? Don't you like everything? The service? They don't make your food like they make it in California. They don't have the same type of service out here. It's rushed. They throw your food together. It don't taste anything like what I'm used to. So it's kind of hard to be like, when people be like, "What do you recommend to eat out here?" And I get that question a lot at the airport. And I'm like, looking at them sideways, like, well, I don't want to lie to you and be like, "Oh, yeah, go to this place. It's great." Because, you know, 9 times out of 10, it's not that great, unfortunately. Um, so I don't recommend. I'll be like, "Oh, I'm not sure. I haven't been here long," is usually what I tell them, but I've been here for a while now and I don't recommend anything. So even just like going to a regular like McDonald's, it's crazy. It's like you have to beg for your food to be made fresh, and I'm not eating anything that's been sitting under the warmer for half the day, which is sometimes what they will try to give you, or fries that's been made in oil that hasn't been changed yet, and it's like, And then when you ask them to make it properly, it's like it's a whole issue. They're like, they're looking at you sideways, like, did you just dare ask me to remake your food? And so, I'm giving you a heads up right now, if you know somewhere, you know, out here, then I'm following your lead, because my answer is nope. Nope, I do not know anywhere good to eat out here. If you like, now wait a minute, I'm coming to see you. Yeah, I know, but because I'd rather you be like, oh, thanks for telling me that that place sucked, versus now why didn't you tell me, you let me go to this place, and I haven't even tried everywhere out here, but I know that there are some places where I'm like, no, I'm not recommending that. And people be like, oh, have you tried such and such? Nope. Oh, you should try. No, thank you. Is usually the answer I'm passing out. No thanks. I'm okay. I'll eat when I get home. Now there's a little buffet by my house that we go to sometimes, and it's just a standard buffet. I go there rarely, but you know, it's kind of hard to find food that's normal out here. And again, I'm from California, so people who live out here, they don't see anything wrong with the food. They're like, oh, such and such is good. Oh, you haven't found the right place yet. It shouldn't be that hard to find some food out here now. But it is. And, you know, for him, he eats anything. But for me, it's like, and he's from California too. And so sometimes he'll be like, oh, this doesn't taste anything like such and such. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's what I've been saying for years. Like, the food out here is not great. But, you know, so her sweater, you see this bow hung paper is already like peeling up. These sides are staying down because that's where I have the tape, but um it's already like peeling up on the sides. And I'm almost done with the picture, but still, I'm gonna put a little bit of tape back here just so it can stay down. There. But it is curling up like the other one. So I noticed that this bow hung paper, it will curl up. All right, so I need a green to deal with some of the shadows here. And I'm going to grab olive green, I think. I think that's pretty dark. I might mix it with a little brown, but yeah, olive green will do. Okay. And I can put some of these colors back. I just have like, all these colors are just chilling here. Let's see. All right, let's get some olive green here. One of your books in California. Yeah. California is great. The food is great. I I kind of miss it, but like at the same time I kind of don't. I don't I miss the food, and I miss, like, being there with my family and stuff like that, but those prices, I don't miss that. Not one bit. um but California is great. I do miss it. I miss the beach. We don't have beaches here. We have a lake where apparently it's famous for dumping things they shouldn't be dumping in there. Yuki, knock it off. Yeah, so I don't go to the lake. Well, no one really goes to that lake. But I hear there's like a splash pad thing around somewhere, but we do have a pool in my place. So that's kind of cool, but I miss the beaches. I also miss Little Tokyo. Every time I go to California, I go to Little Tokyo because we don't have like a place out here where you can get like Japanese stationaries and snacks and stuff like that. Um, I just found out that there's a 85 bakery out here somewhere, 85 degrees. I think there's one in like, it's not close to me, but it's not far. So, I love going there. I miss there. I miss the whole Japanese like vibe in Southern California. Yeah, that's where I'm from. Um, yeah, because I mean, Southern California is pretty big. California is pretty big in general. So now for this part of her sweater, I think I want it to be brown. I might add a little bit of pink. I might pull that John Brilliant back out. Maybe I'll do pink. Oh, you know what? I have like a color that's like not pink. It's more of like an orangey pink. I might do that. That's the pastel orange in the Turner. That's this one here. It's similar to the Jean Brilliant, but it's not as vibrant and it's not as like you'll see when I put it down. Just give me a second. Let me just grab a decent brush to put it down with. Where is my snap? Oh, there it is. Okay. This color that goes down beautifully. I don't know if it's the brush or if it's the amount of water or what it is, but this color is going down without an issue. The only problem I have with that brush is that it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's too um I don't want to say flimsy, but it's not as stiff as I would like it to be. One of these days I'm going to get really good at lining where I don't have to pull out an acrylic paint marker and line my work. One day. Although I do like the acrylic paint marker look. All right, I kind of messed up there a little bit. Okay. Flippy, yeah, like it, yeah, exactly. Like it's too, I mean, I guess the word would be flimsy, right? But not in a bad way, because I do like to use, you know, um, kind of flimsy like things. But okay, so for the fruit, I don't know if I want them to be gold actually, but they're gonna be gold in this painting. But are they gold in the story? I don't know. But I have my Ganzai Tambi Gold, and I'm just gonna let it kind of sit for a little bit. And then I'm gonna put some brown. Do, 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 do. Like just basically trying to force myself to get used to using my acrylic wash and my paint brushes, because when I get to that bigger project, because right now I'm a little scared to even touch it. The sketch came out really cute, but I got to do it. And when I get to it, I want to be comfortable with these darn brushes, and some of them are something else. All right, so I'm gonna let that dry. Let's see how we're doing on this. Needs a little bit of water. So these are obviously going to need multiple layers, because I don't want the white to be shining through. So I'm going to put down the first layer. Okay. This is going to need quite a bit of water too. This would look good in my living room. Just post it on the wall in a nice frame. Ooh, a nice like brown frame. Maybe with like an orange background. They'll be scared. Oh, I'm terrified. I'm gonna show you when I finish here. I'm gonna show you how big it is. It's much bigger than what I'm used to. So, but the sketch came out great. So I just need to paint it, and I'm mortified. If I am being 100% honest, I am mortified to start that painting. Um, but I'm gonna do it. Yeah, it's pretty big. So I'm thinking maybe I should have went with something darker. But if I just keep adding layers, it'll be fine. Yeah, View, it's out of my league, but I'm determined to do different sizes. I don't want to just keep doing like the small paintings. Um, so I'm determined to do other things besides just kind of, I mean, I like sticking to what I'm used to, but I want to explore a little bit more. And I mean, I have the paper, so I might as well use it. Yeah, let it dry. I'm letting it dry. Okay. Yeah, I'm like, I have the paper, so I'm gonna let it, I'm gonna use it. But Jesus, it's big. Okay. Now, my next thing is outlining Bo. And I really think I want to outline her in brown because I feel like the black is going to pop too much. So let me see what kind of brown, or at least like a dark yellow, because she needs an outline. I can't leave her like that. So I'm going to go to my yellows. I might do this brown, this mustard color. I also have like I almost want to try this ivory color. That's number 11. I'm going to give that a shot. It's lighter, but, and this is in the skin tone set. Yeah. I'm hoping, because I really want to do some bigger ones. I don't want to just, I like the smaller ones, don't get me wrong, but I want to do some bigger ones for sure. Oh, I just put my hand right in that. Okay. I'm not going to freak out, but I just stuck my hand in that watercolor. I promise I'm not going to freak out. On the outside. On the outside, I'm not going to freak out. Hang on. Okay, I've already got acrylic gouache all over my hands. All right. Remember not to touch it. But I do like this ivory outline actually. Because it's actually lighter. And I think lighter is better versus the darker outline. I also need to add some this ivory almost looks like white. But I do like it. I need to add some of those fruits to the trees in the background because I didn't add any. Yeah, the black would have been too much, definitely. All right, where's the gold? Because I need to put some more back on that tree that I ran over, and then some on this tree. Okay. I'm going to have to redo that one. Like a glowing halo. Yeah, that's cool. It's a little hard to see where I had the fruit at. Okay. That's good enough, I think. All right. Now for her eyes, though, I'm going to have to go brown because if I add black now, it's going to look weird. So I'm going to go with this sand color, I think. Number 13. I feel like I should have went with this color for the outline. Okay. I'm going to use this color for her smile. I did the white at first, but or the ivory, but I kind of like that better. Okay. So now I feel like I should have went with this brown for the outline of her nose too, because it's like her nose and everything is white and it looks kind of weird. I think the white outline is just good for the outside part of her. But you can't really see. Okay. One day I'll be able to do this with the gouache. One day. All right. Now I'm gonna pick this up carefully because I do have the masking tape on the back. And I know some of it is still wet, the golden part. Let me just peel this off. All right. Ta-da! And then you can see the gold and the trees in the background and a little bit on her scarf too. So now Bo has a nice picture of herself. I don't really like this paper. That is my last review on it. I mean, I'm gonna use it, but as far as like talking about it, I don't really like it. You can't really see the Bao stamp anymore, but if I flip it over, you can still see it. You can see the name imprinted in the paper right there, the letters, but you can't see it if you hold it up to the light anymore. But that annoyed me, and the warping of this paper also is kind of annoying me a little bit. Just a little, not too much, because I mean all paper warps, but um this one is, it has worked the worst out of all the papers that I use. I mean, I'm trying to flatten it out a bit, but outside of that, the actual painting came out pretty good. It came out better than the other one. So the patchiness on the other one was probably just user error, but it's the warping and the stamping of the name that I'm pretty sure is probably going to be in other versions. I mean, in other papers in that set that I have in this block, and that scares me. So I'm like, I'm going to use it, but I'm just going to continue to use it for practice purposes. I'm not going to use it for anything permanent because I would hate to like sell somebody something and it's got a Bao Hong stamp imprinted in the paper and there's nothing I can do about that. So, that'll just be used for practice. Oh, this was the Kool-Aid one view that I haven't cleaned since last time, but I'm going to clean it because I have to. I need to do better at cleaning out my paint water and stuff. But anyway, so that was this paper. And this is the hot press one. Now I might be asked so bold to get the cold press one and see if what the difference is. But as of now, I don't really like the hot press. And it was a pain to get off the block. And I don't have the patience for that at all. I do not have the patience to be struggling. I ripped the first one. This one I didn't rip, thankfully, but this one annoyed me because it had the stamp on it. But the painting itself came out really good. I'm kind of proud of it. My favorite part is the background and the trees and the scarf. And the scarf is my favorite part. So that's that one. So that's one down. Now I'm gonna show again the ones that I'm working on or will be working on, so you can see, and anybody else who missed out. So I redid the one that I did on the hot press paper. We did together on my channel, my other channel. I redid it on cold press. So I'm gonna repaint this and see how it turns out on cold press. And this is again the Strathmore pad. This is the one that you got me view. I actually like using the back side. This is the front. I like using the back because it's more textured. So I went big again, and this is 9x12 size. And this is the sketch of them dancing together. Miso's got his headphones on, and Bo is just in the groove over here. So this is a really big one. I left the background semi blank. There's like music notes and stars and stuff, but it's a really big background. So I just want to test to see how that's going to turn out. This one's not as textured as the back side of that Strathmore one. This is more like the front side. It feels like the front side, but it is textured. So I think my paint's going to have a good time on this one. And then my main project is this one. It doesn't even fit in the screen. This is, what was it, 12x16? Yeah, 12x16. Yeah. So I have sketched this out. I gave the whole story and scenario about what's going on in this sketch. It's really big. So I didn't do the sketch directly on here. What I did was I grabbed, let me move my iPad. I grabbed 2 pieces of Bristol paper and I taped them together, and I did it the size of the watercolor paper. That way I can sketch, I can erase, I can scribble, I can do whatever it is I need to do to get the sketch correct on this paper without doing it on the watercolor paper. So this is just a darker version of what's going on in the sketch. And this is my big project. And this is one of 3. I'm actually going to do 2 more based off of this. And I don't know, it's going to be 3 in the series. And this is just one of them. So once I paint this one, then I'm going to sketch out the second one and paint that one, and then sketch out the third one and then paint that one. And they're all going to be this size. So that's my big project. I'm terrified. I don't know. It's going to be in my normal style. So it's going to be like, the normal vivid colors with the black outline. And if I can get the painting correct, and once I want to color the sketch too, just because I want to do the sketch, just because. But um, maybe I want to get this printed. If I can get this printed without the line here and just get it on one size, or I might just buy a sketchbook that's 9 by whatever this is, 12 by 16. And I really want this to turn out good, but in case it doesn't, I'm going to keep the sketch and then I can just redo it as many times as I need to. But I have it on this Canson watercolor paper that I've never used before. So I'm a little scared as to how it's going to turn out. It is textured, so that's good. It's not smooth at all, so I'm not worried about that. I'm just scared for how it's gonna turn out. If all else fails, right, I can do this. I'm gonna do it with my acrylic gouache, but if all fails, I can just do it over in paint marker, and it just be that. Do it in paint marker, but the goal is to be able to draw and color something of this scale. And I managed to accomplish the drawing part. It's going to be the painting / coloring part that I need to figure out. And I'm terrified. So, with that being said, I don't know if I'm going to do it live or not, but I would like to do this one first because it's not as big. It's about half actually. So I might do this one first and then move on to the big project because it terrifies me just a little bit, a lot. But this one came out really good. So I'm getting a little bit more confident in using my acrylic gouache. I don't have that same confidence for my regular gouache, but one thing at a time, right? So I am going to place this one in plastic. I am going to sign and date it first because I need to get into the habit of doing that. I don't do that as much as I should. So I need to get into the habit of doing that. Let me just and that's my new signature. It is the 17th. All right. I don't have a name for it, so it's just a practice piece. But I really want to get used to using my acrylic gouache because that is what I use the most of. So I am looking for my, oh, here they are. Okay. I think this is the correct size. It might be a little small. Yeah. I don't know what size. Oh, actually, I do know what size it is. It's like 4 by, it's almost 5 by 7. So it might be this one. And I had a lady at work who actually was kind of interested. Is this 5 by 7? Yeah, it's a little smaller than 5 by 7. I was showing her some of my pictures that I did, and she was actually interested in buying the originals. And I don't know if that's a thing where people like buying the original version of, certain art. I don't know. Like some of them, maybe. I know you guys are like, quit it with the rattling. I'm sorry. Some of them, maybe I might be interested in selling, but some of them, like the ones I'm really proud of, I'm like, that was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So I don't know if I want to sell the originals. I don't know. But I had one lady, and it was like a couple years ago, and she wanted to buy the original. did a painting. I think it was the one of him in the forest, actually, and the one I did on canvas. And she was determined. She really wanted that one. I said, listen, I won't sell you the original, but what I can do is I can, do a copy of it and, repaint it or whatever. But she wanted the original, and I was like, no, ma'am, I really like that one. Like, I'm not okay with selling that one. And she was really sad because she wanted it for her daughter's room. And she was like, I'm gonna be following you. And I don't know if she still does or if she just was upset that I didn't sell it to her, and she probably was like, I'm not following her no more. I don't know. But if she is still following, there are prints and stuff that I do sell, but the originals, I don't know. Like this one with that Bauhaus stamp slapped on the front of it, or in between it and the back of it, whatever you want to call it, I wouldn't feel comfortable selling this one. At least not without letting them know, like, there's a you know there's a paper company name stamped on the back of it, and I would have to let them know. But um I don't particularly feel comfortable selling the originals just yet. So, but I do prints here and there. So, but like I can show you guys the one that she was determined to buy for me, and I cannot let this one go. This one was one of the ones I did when I first got my acrylic gouache, and she wanted it for her daughter's room, and because her daughter's room was in like pink and purple, and she was like, oh, that would look great on the wall. And I was like, no, I can't let this one go, but um some I try to keep the originals. Like, so for example, like this one I'm keeping. I don't have this in plastic because I haven't ordered the plastic for this size yet, but like I keep the original for this one, which is this one here. I made copies of to sell prints during the summer, but I have the original. So I don't particularly like selling the originals. I like to keep those. And I keep them in like this what do you call these things? There's got to be a name for this. Okay, they're calling it a scrapbook case. So it's 12 by 12. I'm gonna definitely need something bigger or better than this. Because if I start doing bigger sizes, oh, I almost knocked over this whole thing of water. If I start doing bigger sizes, they won't fit in here. So I'm just knocking stuff all over the place. They won't fit in there. So I'm gonna need something bigger, which is why I'm getting ready. Right. And exactly. That's another thing I have to worry about is like people stealing and doing God knows what with my art. So especially because like you said, I'm going to be making books and coloring books and stuff. So I really want to make sure that people aren't doing things, and a lot of my stuff is signed. I make sure like, it is signed. So if you do get a copy of it, it's signed. I sign everything I send out. So no one can say, oh, I did this. Everything is signed by me in pen. So you would have to do a lot of scratching out or whiting out or something. And, but I try not to think that people, even though that's how some people are, I try to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I do still sign all my work. Um, I used to didn't. I used to, and my mom says I should sign it on the front. So some of my stuff is signed on the front, but I really like the way it looks when it's signed on the back. But I need to start signing them on the front because it looks good on the front too. Like this one, I signed on the front down here. So I need to get used to doing that, because if I sign it on the front, then there's no way you can say that, you know what I mean? Like this one's on the back. So I think when um, because when you hang stuff up, I'd like to think that people don't like to see the signature, but I quickly found out that a lot of people don't really care. As long as it's not huge, giant going across the art and making the art look bad, a lot of people don't really mind if you sign your work on the front. So I need to learn to start signing on the front. So scrapbook bin or crafting bin. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need something bigger. I have a bin, and it's pretty big actually. I'm sitting here looking at it and I'm thinking, I'm like, that might actually work. I might need to get like some divider things or something, because it's just a bin. It doesn't have like any folders or anything like that to like slide the stuff into. So I might have to get that separate. Um, that's what I'm kind of thinking at the moment, because I already have like a bin to put it in. I just don't have anything to like separate them. That's, I think, what my issue might be. So I think once I'm done like cleaning and stuff, I might work on this one, see how big of a large scale, or I might just jump right into this other one, which I'm really scared of, but I need not be. So I think I might jump into that one later today. Well, it's already later today. It's like, what, 3 o'clock? But I think I'm gonna jump into this one first. I'm gonna go change out my water and everything and do a little bit of cleaning. I've been on here for almost 2.5 hours now. I think that's enough. We did a full painting. We talked about the paper. We talked about how I didn't like it too much. Um, so if I do this on stream or not, I will come back the next live and talk about how I felt about the paper. Um, and then if I start the other one, I'll show that off as well. But I'm working. I'm working, guys. I am really trying to stay focused on my art. I still color. I haven't colored in about a week or so, but my main focus is my art. So I appreciate those who come over here and hang out with me while I figure out my art and my characters and my stories and keeping up with them all. Um, Again, I do have an unveil, which is where I'm going to be posting my characters and posting about them and their personalities and the world that they live in and stuff like that. It's a free website. I don't think you have to sign up for it or anything to go and read about the characters. So you can just go and read about it. I'm going to add that in the description after the live, because again, this live streaming thing that I'm on, it didn't really let me add anything in there like that. So I'm gonna do that after the live. So if anybody's replaying and wondering where the unveil is, and then I'm also probably gonna link it in my subscription, not subscription, my description of my main YouTube. That way you guys can go read about Miso and Bo whenever you feel like it. Um, and I also have a Ko-fi where I post all of my finished work, where I'm getting into the practice of focusing on posting my finished work. Listen to mom, she knows. Yeah, she does. She does. She was like, she told me like, I forget. It was like I showed her something, and she was like, "Where's your signature?" I said, "It's on the back, mom." She was like, "It's supposed to be on the front." I was like, "Oh boy." So I'm trying to get used to signing on the front. So but I have a habit of signing on the back. So as you see just then, I just signed it on the back, and I'm like, well, that should have been on the front. But I need to put like a sign in front of me, and it needs to just say sign on the front so I can remember. But And it's not like my signature is big. It's, you know, it's not big at all. But I am going to head out. I'm going to let you guys go, and I will be back probably tomorrow or later today with some updates. I'm going to go do some cleaning and find some food. So, catch you guys later. Bye. Thanks for coming by, View. Thanks everybody who was watching in the shadows. See you next time. Bye.